Okay, we're going to get started. The New Jersey Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provision of this act, the Belvidere Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted with the Star Ledger and Express Times and submitted to the town clerk of the town of Belvidere on June 21st, 2021. Due to COVID-19, masks will be required at this meeting. This meeting will be live streamed at www.belvideresd.org. It's time for the flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, roll call, Shell.
Mr. Blum? Mrs. Costantino?
Here.
Dr. Zuppeth?
Here.
Mrs. Duckworth?
Here.
Mrs. Weidlich?
Here.
Mr. Scott?
Here.
Mrs. Scott?
Here.
Mr. Smith? Mrs. Steffen?
Here.
Mr. Ty? Mrs. Williams?
Here.
Okay, so this is our workshop session. So we had a finance committee meeting. We won't have anything we want to discuss about finance? Everybody got the notes Brian sent out?
Probably just worth
Yeah.
mentioning that we did meet with we'll call them executives from St. Luke's, who did just discuss some of the programs that they would be working with us on. I think that was in the notes. They made some pretty hefty promises, and we just hope that they follow through on that with some training, some hopeful, some financial backing on a few things. Hopefully we'll hear back from them shortly, because they did have some good ideas with that.
Yeah.
But they did spend probably close to an hour talking about everything. Obviously, they'd like us to renew the contract when it's up, but will be up for discussion at the appropriate time.
Do you have anything you want to add to that, Brian? No? Okay. Policy did not meet.
Can I just comment quick on policy? Once we approve the manual tonight, I'm going to send everybody a PDF copy of it. It's still in draft form, but once we approve it, then it'll go on our website. It'll take a little bit of time to get it up there in full form. And then I do have an update for the policy committee. So that'll probably come out. If I can get to that between now and Friday, I will.
Okay, good.
It's probably about 2,000 pages of policy if you have time to read it over the weekend.
Okay, curriculum, we had that meeting early in the month. The notes went out for that. Does anybody have any questions or comments about that one? Heather, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No.
Heather, by the way, who took Tad's place, has also graciously agreed to be the chair for that committee.
And I tried to get the notes out as fast as he did, but I heard I was a little short.
All right, so the only one that leaves is negotiations, and that we'll have to.
Personnel too.
Negotiations and personnel, I apologize.
Yep.
But both of those will have to take place in executive session. So can I get a motion and a second to go into executive session to discuss personnel and negotiations?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay, motion to go into executive session. We're just going to discuss personnel and negotiations. The matters discussed will be disclosed to the public when the reasons for confidentiality no longer exist. So let's go. We'll be back, I don't know, 15 minutes maybe? Shouldn't take long. Okay. Can I get a motion and a second to adjourn to our regular meeting?
Motion.
Second, somebody?
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, so our regular meeting will start. The New Jersey Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Belvidere Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted with the Star Ledger and the Express Times and submitted to the town clerk of the town of Belvidere on January 14th, 2021. Due to COVID-19, masks will be required at this meeting. The meeting will be live streamed at www.belvideresd.org. Flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call, Shell.
Mr. Blum? Mrs. Costantino?
Here.
Dr. Zuppeth?
Here.
Mrs. Duckworth?
Here.
Mrs. Weidlich?
Here.
Mr. Scott?
Here.
Mrs. Scott?
Here.
Mr. Smith? Mrs. Steffen?
Here.
Mrs. Williams?
Here.
And Mr. Ty.
Okay, we're at the part of our meeting for public participation. Does anybody in the public have anything they want to say? Christy, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Christy Weber. I'm president of the Belvidere Education Association. I am up here in regards to item number 2 on your personnel agenda. The association respectfully asks that the personnel agenda item 2 be tabled due to the fact that there are some unresolved issues about how that particular item was handled at the last board meeting. Thank you.
Anybody else have public participation? Go ahead.
Hi, my name's Jana Adamczyk. I teach at the high school and I also live in Belvidere. And I'm here today to ask the board to get rid of the 10 minutes of extra time for the high school schedule and go back to our old schedule. There are many reasons that I have for that. It's just really not conducive to learning for the students. The homeroom in the afternoon is really an issue. I feel like the homeroom in the afternoon is no longer a productive time that we can use for activities and different things for the students to do, since we don't have the full group there. We also are losing time in our morning classes and our actual first block classes. If you meet on a Monday, you're actually losing 10 minutes of time during the week compared to our afternoon classes. We also have we're just really losing time out because we're doing morning announcements in the morning during those class times, and we have the pledge to do, and it just doesn't seem that we're supposed to be gaining time and we're actually losing it.
Thank you. Anybody else for public participation?
I'm Matthew Gernano. I'm a high school student, senior in honors. I am actually here to voice the same complaint as Ms. Adamczyk does about the 10-minute homeroom at the end of the day, especially in regards to students and the issues it causes for them. So in general, the 10-minute homeroom at the end of the day, while I understand its purpose is for us to communicate about things going on within the school and to educate, it doesn't really serve that purpose, as most of my homerooms have been nothing. I've just been sitting there on my phone and socializing with friends rather than anything that a homeroom should be. Along with this, it causes major problems for those of us with sports, the scheduling for buses, and especially for those students with jobs who have, especially for students with jobs who are now going to have to either cut their free time in half, or especially for those of us who work at 3, who now have to go from school to work all day, sleep, go to school, rinse and repeat. I believe that a potential solution for this would be to allow seniors, juniors with cars, or any students with rides to either ignore or check into homeroom and leave, because that would fix a lot of the issues regarding work, some of the issues regarding sports, as you could also allow sports teams to enter the locker room early and start practice as other students are leaving. And it would also fix a problem regarding Belvidere students who have siblings within the middle school and elementary school who need to walk their siblings home and just simply can't because they're not allowed to leave school early. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public participation? Okay, I'm going to close public participation. Do you want to address any of that?
I think it's something we'll have to discuss with Ms. McKinney. I'm not sure if the student has had an opportunity to talk to Ms. McKinney or Mr. Bartow about that. I think that's a good place to start, so we'll discuss that tomorrow.
Okay, good. Okay, where are we at? Superintendent's report?
Going to start tonight by asking Ms. Begelli to come up and as we've discussed before, trying to do at least a once, if not a twice a year, sort of roundup and wrap up and where we're going with this child study team. So, Ms. Begelli, sure.
Good evening, everyone. Just adjust this real quick. So I am Ryan Begilli. I'm the Director of Special Services for the cluster school districts of Belvidere, Harmony, Hope, and White Township. I'd like to thank everyone for the opportunity to come here and speak to you tonight. You know, I can't believe, and I apologize for having my back to everyone here, but I can't believe we're already 2 months into the school year. What seemed like a long September has now morphed into looking ahead to November on Monday. So here we are. I just wanted to give you a brief update regarding the child study team and some of our special ed programs throughout the cluster. So currently, as of today, we have approximately 215 students with IEPs on our roster cluster-wide, with 100 of them either attending the Belvidere School District or being case managed out of an out-of-district placement through our two schools here in Belvidere. As of this school year, our complete cluster child study team is now made up of 11 individuals, as we welcome a new member to our team, Ms. Cara Imbilzano, who serves as full-time speech therapist at both Hope and White Township schools. To review, Belvidere High School's case manager is Daniel Rambo, school social worker. Our K-8 case manager is Janine Adler, formerly known as Janine Belsky, who is a school social worker, and our preschool, cluster-wide preschool and out-of-district case manager is Elizabeth Kerpat, who is a school psychologist. Additionally, just to introduce the Belvidere School District team, we have Dina Kozlowski, who serves as a Belvidere speech therapist, and Julie Kearns, who is our occupational therapist. And we continue to have our physical therapy services and our behavioral support services contracted out through J&B Therapy this year. This year in Belvidere, as in our other cluster schools, we'll continue to offer a number of special education programs and services, including our multiply disabled program at various levels here in Belvidere School District, as well as pull-out resource replacement, in-class resource, and paraprofessional support throughout preschool through 12th grade. Additionally, one benefit in Belvidere is that we offer an emotional regulation support program, which is formerly known as our behavioral disabilities program. The classification and program name was changed recently in the Department of Education in New Jersey Special Education Code. Just to give you an update, even though we have been a bit removed from our summer ESY program, this past summer we did host here on our Belvidere campus a cluster-wide extended school year program. Over 40 students throughout the cluster participated in academic and programs and or related services over the course of our almost 4-week program. I have to thank, even though, again, we are so far removed from last summer's program, I have to thank wholeheartedly all of the staff who are involved with this program, because it was extremely successful, and just knowing how successful it was for our students, we are certainly going to look forward to planning a cluster-wide ESY program again in the future. Everybody throughout the cluster feels that it was quite a benefit to bring everyone together and share the resources. We will look to have similar dates and times as we did last summer, because it just seemed to really work out in the long run for our staffing and our students. Once again, this school year, we have a number of staff members cluster-wide, including administrators, CST members, counselors, teachers, and paraprofessionals who are participating in Crisis Prevention Institute training. CPI training involves equipping staff with strategies to identify and de-escalate difficult situations and address behavioral issues using verbal and nonverbal techniques. These strategies will help staff to better help students who might be facing difficult situations or need emotional supports. And we are contracting out those services through a local trainer. As we continue to establish normalcy in our calendars and schedules this school year, some goals for this year involve working more closely with case managers and staff across the cluster to help better support them in supporting the special needs students, as well as working to develop a better understanding of curriculum programs and resources used with our special education students, and looking more closely at where additional resources or trainings may need to be provided, so that recommendations can, in the long run, be provided to the building administrators in each district. This school year, through the efforts of our 3 speech therapists we have on our child study team, we've been able to reinstate our kindergarten speech screenings. Each kindergartner in our 4 districts where consent was provided was given a screener recently, which helped to determine where their speech and language skills and development are relative to their age and grade level. This provided our therapists useful information as to whether or not any further intervention or possibly a direct CST speech referral might be warranted. The interventions being provided, which started this month, encompass practices based on the 5-Minute Kids program and are being utilized in all 4 districts. Just as a closing announcement, our Child Study Team's Special Education Parent Advisory Committee is going to be hosting a mental health awareness resources presentation here in our high school media center on Tuesday, November 9th at 6:30 p.m. We're going to have a number of speakers and resources from all over Warren County who are going to speak to the various resources and the availability of certain programs throughout our Warren County area. And that is open to anybody who wants to attend, not just special needs parents and students, but anybody looking for more information on mental health resources and awareness. Our committee is going to be distributing a flyer throughout the cluster in the next few days, and announcements will be made electronically and posted on the various district websites. So I invite everybody who's interested in finding out more information about mental health awareness to attend that presentation on Tuesday, November 9th. I just want to, in closing, say that I'm extremely proud to be a part of this school district, and I'm really proud to be in this position, and I'm even more proud of my team and the work that they do. They work tirelessly every day to provide what our students need and to work with families in the community. And I just want to extend a big thank you to them for all of the work that they do, because it sometimes, many times, goes unnoticed. So I just want to extend my appreciation. And I want to thank you again for the opportunity to come up here and speak to you this evening. And as always, I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank
Does
you.
anybody have any questions for Ryan before she sits down? No? Okay. Thanks again, Ryan. Good job. Okay, can I get a motion and a
Whoa,
second?
whoa, whoa, I got other stuff too.
Oh, you got more? I thought you were done. I thought you said you were done and you were going on to her.
I just have a few things to mention. First of all, thanks, Ms. Begelli, for your presentation. We did just finish up our Start Strong testing over the last week or so. Ms. McKinney and I actually had a chance to take a look at some of the scores today. We had to get used to the way the scores were written because it was whether or not students need support rather than the usual 1, 2, 3, or 4. So we'll be doing a presentation at the November board meeting just to get a sense of where the students are when it comes to that stuff. I see some looks on the face by some of the teachers, so that's what we are seeing. The good news is we have all the questions and all the answers, so we'll be able to share that with the staff so you can kind of get a sense of what they're looking for. Couple of notes, reminder that Friday is an early dismissal for the entire district. Traditionally doing that the day of the Halloween parties and the parade. I know Mr. Carabinas is excited for his Halloween parade on Friday, and let's hope that the weather stays good for Friday for that. Our conferences for November, we've cut them down to now 2 days, and they will be virtual. We had a conversation, Mr. Carabinas and I know he had a conversation with the staff that had a much better attendance when they were virtual than in the past. So if a parent can jump on a Zoom call at 2:20, they're able to do that rather than trying to fix their schedule. So we'll see how that goes for this year. Another reminder, next week is the NJEA convention. Slightly jealous that it is in person for them because the school board's convention this week is all virtual. So a reminder, we will be no school for everyone on Thursday, Friday. I spent yesterday in, I think it was 5 different workshops for the school boards. I don't know if anybody else had an opportunity to do that. If you did not, I recommend at least seeing the keynote speaker from yesterday morning. She's a junior student from West Orange High School who suffers from dyslexia. I don't know that anyone could have done a better job of explaining what it's like to be a student this year. She was excellent, so if nothing else, I recommend taking the 20 minutes and watching her. I also saw a couple other good ones. I'll write up a little bit in my weekly summary this week. Next Wednesday, we have our 8th grade visitation here at the high school, scheduled for 7:45 to 12. And Ms. McKinney will be sharing with me the information, which I'll get out to everybody also on Friday. And pretty much that's it. We are getting close to wrapping up our sports season. I know one sport is done, and then we have a lot of playoffs next week. So good luck to all the teams. And it was definitely an interesting year, but we got most of our games, and so that's a positive at this point. Those are my
Thanks,
notes.
Chris. Anybody have any questions for Chris? No? Okay, so now we'll go. Can I get a motion in a second for policy item 1?
Mary Ann?
Yeah.
Do we have correspondence or accept the resignation?
Oh, that's on the other page. Sorry, we completely skipped that one. Shell, correspondence?
The only correspondence that I have is the resignation email from Mr. White, which just says to please accept the email as his formal notification of his resignation from the Belvidere Board of Education effective 9/30 of '21.
Okay, so now can I get a motion in a second to accept Andy's resignation?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Did we miss anything? Did I miss anything else? I'm afraid to go on. Can I get a motion in a second for policy item number 1 on the agenda? Second.
I was going to ask for number 2 to be tabled as
We're
well.
not there yet.
Okay,
We're on number 1.
go ahead.
Any discussions or comments? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
Abstentions? Okay. Can I get a motion in a second for agenda items 2 through 8B? We have 6, 8A and 8B as add-ons on our secondary sheet. Second?
I have a question about
Wait,
motion.
second?
Second,
Second.
Thank you.
second.
Okay. Questions or comments on the agenda items? Now go ahead, Jen.
Number 2, I would like tabled, and if
Why?
we can discuss that with personnel. I want to just find out what might be going on. If it's a personnel issue, I can't ask here. So there was a request at the beginning of the meeting for it to be tabled. I'm not saying I want to vote for it or against it. I just would like background
information.
information. We can't talk about it because it's personnel. So I ask as the chair of
Can you
personnel
offer anything up that's not
to table it until we can talk about it.
I would suggest we probably
table it?
table it.
Okay,
yeah.
so we'll table
'Cause
item 2.
I know one person, definitely Rice, but I'm not sure of the other one.
Okay,
Okay.
so let's table number 2.
And then just with number 4, I think it's just a title error, maybe, I don't understand. With Mr. Bartow, it says assistant principal and then assistant principal athletics. Isn't he considered athletic director?
No, the title actually is Assistant Principal of Athletics.
Yeah.
That's how our job description is written.
Okay,
That way he was able to go through the certification program to have his permanent certification as an administrator while he was AD.
thank you.
We did that right when he was hired. Actually, we did that before he was hired. We did that for previous.
Other questions or comments? None? Okay, roll call, Shell?
Mr. Blum?
Yes.
Mrs. Cosentino?
Yes, and we tabled 2, right?
Yes, we tabled
Yeah,
2.
so that's yes.
Dr. Zuppeth?
Yes.
Mrs. Duckworth?
Yes, with abstain to number 6.
Mrs. Weidlich?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mrs. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Smith? Mrs. Steffen?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Okay, can I get a motion and a second for education items 9 through 13A? We have 13A is on our addendum sheet.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
Yes, on, pardon me, number 9, Mr. Kruba, tell me a little bit about that.
I'll do one better. I'll have Mr. Carabinas come up since Mr. Carabinas was working on the job descriptions. Chris, you want to just
Okay.
come up and talk about the extracurriculars and the after-school programs?
We start in grade 3, 4, and 5 after school enrichment remediation for targeted skills in grades 3, 4, and 5. And for grades 6, 7, and 8, we're going to do intramurals, which is going to be a student-led initiative to do activities after school for our middle schoolers, and we're going to run it through the guidance department.
My question would be, why don't we expand it from the youngest grade to the most senior grade? Kids have been disadvantaged because of COVID.
Well, one of the things we did do with our K-1-2s is that's where we put a ton of our RTI resources throughout the day. And our plan was to do the 3, 4, 5 after-school program, which we've had in the past, and some of our funding was shifted around. And now we are looking for the funding to bring back 3, 4, 5, we had it last year, which was a slightly different model, but we will definitely can expand to K-1-2 as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Can I get a motion and a second for business items 14 through 20? Second?
Second.
Questions or comments? None? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
I abstain on 18 and 19.
Okay. Do we have any, what do we have for continuing business?
I just wanted to talk for a second about, we've been talking about athletics and trying to grow our numbers a little bit and what we could do and camps and things like that. And it's just been a continuing conversation. I'm just wondering if we can start moving in the direction of like a committee. You know, it might have to be a subcommittee, it might not even be a board committee. It might be a couple of parents. But I'd like to open up that discussion of moving more in that direction.
It probably should be a committee with not, maybe 1 or 2 board members, but committee,
Right.
Community members,
Mhm.
what I was trying to say. You want to take that on your plate?
I'm just writing down notes, not that I'm...
I know. Maybe reach out to the community and see if we can get any volunteers to,
I think it's something that, I'll put on my plate, and I'll have Mr. Bartow join me since it definitely affects the high school
there
athletics.
you go.
I know he's excited for it, too.
I'm sure he'd love to serve on the committee as well.
Absolutely.
I think it's an excellent idea, Jen.
I think we
Excellent.
should put some students on them too.
Yeah, we could do that as well.
Take my notes.
All right. Other continuing business.
I just, maybe I'm forgetting, but where are we on the presentation of the facilities plan last week? Where are we going with that, and what's the ultimate goal of all of this now that we've seen what our district person thinks needs to get done, this whole plan that we get done? Where are we? The flow now.
So I think we kicked it back to finance,
Correct.
but I'm not sure that finance feels comfortable making the overall decision.
They do not.
So I think we need to set aside some time prior to a meeting, and we could do it maybe for the 6:30, 7 o'clock block at the next meeting, where as a board, we have that discussion.
I'm going to jump in quick. So at our last facilities finance meeting, I think we decided as a committee that we're going to have Mr. Barrett come to that next meeting and develop the top 5 to 10 priorities per the Finance Facilities Committee, and then bring that list back to the board to hash out so that we can actually get to a concrete list.
All right, so we're going to have one more finance committee meeting, and then, so at the next board meeting, the pre-meeting, we'll discuss where we want to go. It's a lot of dollars, and it's, it's a big thing, so it should be a full board discussion, not just a committee
I
discussion.
think it flows also into what Jen's trying. I think this all needs to come together because, numbers, but numbers are very, very low in all spending districts.
Yes.
Everything, not just Belvidere numbers are low. We're combining with towns. Field hockey had to go to Phillipsburg for certain age groups. You know, football is not looking good, but and I had questions via text in reference to like where are we going with this? My suggestion to them was that we need to all work together. We can't, even as spending districts. So I think that like we all need to, between the committee and the board and our professionals that are in the district.
Right. Yeah. So that was the plan. So next meeting, we'll have something put together for the board to discuss. Top 5 hit list kind of thing. Sorry. Other continuing business?
I just want to thank Mr. Carabinas for the intramurals. I think that's kids are very excited about it. So.
Good.
Is that also something we could start looking into at the high school then too, if this is a success? Because I know you have a lot of kids that are playing sports, but there's a lot of kids out there that just might want to do an activity once a week versus a team all the time. Because I know, my son, but other kids, that like to play for years then just aren't the competitive kid or whatever that might like to do a fun team outside or a fun activity, whether it's dance or, whatever the activity might be.
Mr. Bartow,
On my list.
archery. Yeah, I'd like to know a little bit more. The last time you discussed it, I thought it was going to be a go, and we haven't really seen much. Okay.
Hang on. I think Eric's got to do something.
Good.
I think I'm good now.
Yeah.
So we're looking to start the first week of January. So I'm still in like the logistical phase of where we're going to put it because we're adding BYA basketball. We're adding a bunch of other things in gym spaces. So I was waiting to talk to Mr. Barrick. We're going to see if we can even maybe get it into the cafeteria as well as even the elementary school. I think we might have enough space for that. So we're going to try January and February to shoot. And then March is like the tournament shoot. So again, it's going to be quick this year just to get the team formed, work out all the cobwebs, so to speak, and then next year add on time to make sure that we start
And my
improving our
second
chances of
question.
winning. Say that again?
My second question. You don't remember.
What?
Students that are attending VOTEC.
They cannot.
They cannot.
They cannot.
Okay. I would like to know the reason why. You can.
I have it in an email. I can't remember off the top of my head
Okay.
because
Can you send
it's
that
been
to
a
me,
while
please?
since we've discussed that. Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Tomorrow
thank
morning.
you.
Anything else?
Anything else for Brad? No? Okay. Thanks, Brad. Any more continuing business? Okay, how about new business? Anybody have anything for new business?
I have new business on something we haven't talked about for a while, but the app for Belvidere hasn't been updated
Oh, yeah.
much at all. I'd love to see, stuff getting posted there.
I think next week's days off are on there.
Before it happens. We get a lot of updates on what's happened throughout the week, but we don't get,
What's coming?
we don't get what's coming,
Is that you, Eric?
to know.
That,
I know it wasn't talked about, like, for freshman parents, in any of the back-to-school nights or anything, as far as, hey, this is our app, we can, you can get it and stuff, too. So
I'll look into that tomorrow.
I know people don't know about it.
Or we decide to get rid of it. Don't have to have every.
I can't hear you.
can't hear you, Eric. Still can't hear
Another
you.
one.
So whenever there's news articles that are posted on the website, it should automatically post up onto the app. So it's nothing that someone has to actually physically put onto the app. It's once it's posted up on the news on the website, it automatically goes to the app. So I'll have to double check on the
Okay, yeah,
settings
'cause-
to make sure that both are syncing correctly, or if we're, say, posting in an area that doesn't get pushed to the app, then we'll have to double check those settings.
Okay, yeah, because like the board meetings used to pop up and stuff
Yeah.
on it, and you get like little alerts.
Most likely
and-
it's because either we're not using that calendar anymore, or that those news sections aren't being posted to the app itself.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks, Eric. Any other new business? No? Okay, we're back to our public participation. Anybody in the audience have anything for public participation? No? Okay, we'll close public participation. We're having an executive session for HIV?
HIV, yeah.
Okay. We're going to have to go into executive session to discuss an HIB incident, not personnel or superintendent contract. That was taken care of at the initial one. The matters discussed will be disclosed to the public when the reasons for confidentiality no longer exist. Can I get a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I opposed? Abstentions? Okay. We will not take action after the meeting, correct?
will.
Oh, we will?
We
We'll
have
take
to
action
vote on
after
it.
the meeting, sorry.
That's what.
A motion and a second on, to approve the September 2021 HIB findings without incidents presented by the superintendent.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Can I get a motion and a second to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All right, good job, Mars. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Go home.
Morris, last time they wouldn't let us vote on anything. This time we made motion.